from working over its back by putting two small adults. I'm going to walk around this horse and just see. This isn't too bad. It's a little narrower than I would like them. Our saddles all have that much room down the channel, you know, because we want to sit on either. Anybody else want to feel this? Come here and put your finger here. Anybody want to feel this? So just put your finger in the middle of the spine, and then just come straight forward till you feel it drop off a ledge. Feel that? So that's where the muscle starts, is when you feel that drop off, that's muscle. Up above that is ligaments, okay? And you do not want the saddle to sit on the ligament. Anybody else want to feel this? Yeah. Come on. Just put your finger right there and just bring it forward till it drops off. Feel it drop off the ledge? That's it. So if your saddle is sitting on top any closer than that, so that's how wide it is. That's how wide you want the channel down your saddle. And that's what's wrong with all of these old saddles, is somehow it just kept getting narrower and narrower. Go back and once again, look at the McClellan saddles. They're that wide. There's nothing touching the girth. I mean, the withers or
I have one.
Kind of area, yeah. Just bring it.
In my barn, I will.
Cool.
I'll bring it tomorrow.
Those saddles are made of wood, and you could ride a horse for 100 miles in
That's
those
correct.
without getting them sore. That's what they were made for.
Except they're really narrow in the withers too, because they were all narrow
well,
horses.
Well, of course, different kinds of horses. If they would have made it in a larger size.
Right.
Anybody else want to feel this while I'm standing here? So once again, just put your finger right in the middle till you feel it. Just put a little pressure till you feel it drop off. Try to come straight, so you're coming straight down this way. There. Feel it drop off there? Okay. Middle of the back and just draw it straight forward till you feel it drop off the ledge. Okay, that's it. So that's where the muscle starts. Yeah, will it drop off? Yeah. Okay, that's it. So that's an easy way to tell when you look at a saddle. Most older saddles are too narrow.
What about the flap right there?
Now, the next thing we would look at is the shoulder here. Now, this is kind of interesting. This would be a questionable saddle here, because we can see that shoulder, let me see if you stand up a little straighter.
Poor horse.
There we go. Okay. So, now there's a little relief here in this saddle, but if it, I certainly wouldn't want it to see any tighter than that. So if you put on your saddle and this that's why I made it move, because he was just kind of standing in a funny way there. But if it bulges out like that, every time the shoulder has to move under the saddle, up and under the saddle. So the saddles that we ride in are cut back here. So inside the saddle, there's an open space that goes back about 3 inches, which gives the horse room. That's called shoulder relief. So in my opinion, every saddle should have shoulder relief. I mean, we don't buy any saddles that don't have shoulder relief. Because that's one of the biggest areas.
But that's a new kind of a deal, though.
It's a fairly new idea, but almost all the saddle companies are now going to it because they've realized the importance of it. Yeah, so most of the new ones that you'll see, certainly the good ones, any of the good saddle companies.
My hunter saddle is brand new. Devacool has to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Devacool used to make.
And so what makes it you sit closer to the withers?
Well, is being in the in other words, the deepest point should be right here. There's the wither. So the deepest point. This saddle is actually pretty good that way. So we want to, and you want your deepest point to be no more than about 4 to 6 inches from the stirrup bar. So this is pretty good.
Okay.
That's about right. Because look, that's the distance. The distance from here to here is the distance from where the stirrup is on your foot to your heel. Because you want your heel to be underneath you, right? So if that distance is any more than that, you're going to sit in a chair seat like that. But on the other hand, if this were lower than this, you'd sit in a chair seat as well. It's too far behind. But that's actually not too bad for this horse. I mean, I'm not seeing anything that worries me there.
And this would be short then. The girth would be considered short.
This one? Yeah, you could do it.
Needs to be higher.
This is better than most we've seen today, but you could come up a little bit. In other words, the more girth you have, the more support the horse has without pressure. In other words, the shorter the girth is, the more pressure there is on that shortened space, right? And especially these points right here. Now, this one isn't so bad, but we saw one horse earlier that literally this was pushed in. Like you can see above it, there was really a pressure point right there. So that's why, as I said, this is just the latest research, and I certainly see why, because once you look at it and say, well, that doesn't make much sense, does it? Because now we have this weird pressure point down here, whereas we bring it up here, now that we don't have that weird pressure point. So
padding,
what's that?
like mine is heavily padded right up to the top, but it's still, I got it short, so it's fairly low, so I don't get my toes in it and stuff. So
I see. I suppose that would be a concern.
Yeah, I've got it around here, so
you'd like it to come up as closest to the saddle as you can get.
Okay, so
like the way I get mine, there's one hole left. So my girths come to about right there, and I have like one hole left between me and the saddle.
So I should
how
get
I'd like
a couple more inches longer.
So once again, some are better than others. Like this one isn't so bad. You know, it's not fantastic. Now here you can see this is on this side. This is also kind of let me see. But this is kind of what I was talking about. You see now he's standing kind of funny. That's making the shoulder poke out. But you can see if you have all the shoulder coming out this way in front of your saddle, once again, where's that shoulder going to go? Now he's standing funny, which is why I'm just
You can
walking
move
him.
it however you want.
Come on, buddy boy.
Hello.
I just asked my fitter the same
And
question.
so now you see when he stands up straight, it's not so bad, but that's still, I would like to see that a little wider than it is and with the shoulder relief. But this isn't bad. I don't think this is going to kill a horse. But there's some, I mean, we've seen horses just destroyed by bad saddles. I mean,
I am on the list for getting a Schleicher saddle.
excellent,
Just let me
excellent.
know.
Good for you. They're the best ones out there. And once we're working with this poor Peter Horvath company, because what we're trying to do, so many places that we travel to, it's the same thing. Nobody has a saddle that fits their horse, and some of them are, I mean, nobody here has been terrible, but you should see some of the things that we run into at times. And it's always because there's no good saddle fitters in the area. So what I'm trying to do everywhere I go regularly is we're trying to get one of our associate trainers to get on the Saddlefit thing. So we have somebody in each area that can do remote fitting. In other words, they would take the measurements, send them to my wife, she'll set it, and then the person, whoever that is in the area, who anybody's interested in this, I highly recommend it, they can just do the little adjustments of flocking here or there that might have to be done to make it perfect. But my wife is pretty damn good at it's rare that she gets a remote fit back. In fact, I don't think she's ever gotten a remote fit back. She's just very, very good at the science of it. So this way we can get people in the right fitting saddles and not be so frustrated. Because everywhere I go, and it's been the frustration with a lot of Schleicher saddles, is everybody loves the saddles, but they all say the same thing. None of the saddle fitters are any good. They won't come when you call them. You know, there's just not enough of them. They're not educated enough. And so this is kind of what we're thinking about, how to solve that by getting some of our associate trainers involved in saddle fitting, so that everywhere we go on a regular basis, all of our students have access to someone who can help them. You know, because you can literally destroy a horse with a bad saddle. I mean, and you can, I mean, people are so surprised. I mean, we see horses all the time that can barely move and they're all locked up, and you put a correct fitting saddle on and it just changes them overnight. I mean, in a day, as soon as you put it on, the horse can free. You know, if your horse gets, you know, a good sign is if you're coming up to your horse with a saddle and it pins its ears back, it's a pretty good idea that the horse is telling you, don't put that damn thing on me, because it hurts every time you do. You know, so if your horse freaks out every time you get near it with a saddle, it's a pretty good sign that, you know,
Something's
the saddle
not
you
right.
have isn't working, you know, for you. So listen to your horse. If there's a reason they don't want it on their back, it's because it hurts them. You know.